Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about how to make this really cute ghost tassel garland for Halloween. Here you see it on a box because I have another blog post and video about a care package for Halloween, but you can actually make this ghost tassel garland with these beads and run it along your mantle or hang it from the wall. There's really no limit to how long you could make your garland. So let's jump right in and I'll show you how to make it. One of the things I love about this project is it hardly takes any supplies. First, you need some white yarn. You need some beads. We're going to use the black and orange beads out of this Dollar Tree bag of beads. And you need a pair of scissors. Oh, and you'll need something to use for a template for your tassels. I used a DVD case. The first thing you've got to do is sort through these beads. I know it's kind of a pain, but it's only $1 for this huge bag. You can use the red and green for a future Christmas project and the pink and yellow for a future Easter project. So once you get those all sorted out, you can remove the other colors and just keep the orange and the black. I cut 3 pieces of string. You only see 2 here, but 3 pieces of string about 13 inches a piece. The first thing I'm doing is taking one of those strings, and this is actually the one that my garland is hanging from. So mine is 13 inches because that's the length of my garland. If you're doing a mantle, you might have 4 feet, 5 feet, something like that. I'm taking the string and I'm wrapping a piece of tape really tightly around the end, and I need to do that because I can't get the yarn through the bead without either threading it on a needle or putting a piece of tape like this, and that helps me easily get it through the hole of the bead. Now it's easy to thread those beads onto my yarn. If you have a really long garland, you might want to tie a knot in the other end so that the beads don't come onto the yarn and then fall off the other end. My garland's pretty short. I'm only putting a total of 8 beads because I'm only at about 12 inches is the length of my garland on the box. So I did not tie a knot. I'm just alternating my beads every other color, orange, black, orange, black, orange, black, orange, black. Once you get your garland strung with the beads, go ahead and set that off to the side and we'll switch gears and we'll start to make our ghost tassels. I like to have a couple strings cut before I start making my tassel. Today these are both about 13 inches. One of these strings will go around the tassel and the other one will actually tie the tassel to the garland. And then once we have those cut, we can pick up our template and start wrapping yarn from the skein right onto our template. Now, the more times you wrap around your template, the thicker and fuller your tassel is. For the tassels today for these ghosts, I'm wrapping that yarn around my template 25 times, and then I just simply cut the yarn. Then I just grab one of these pre-cut pieces of yarn and I thread it underneath this yarn that I've wrapped around my template, and I tie a knot right in the middle. Really important that this knot is tight, so get that pulled very tightly the first time, and then once you do that, go ahead and make a second knot into your yarn, making a really nice double knot right in the middle. Then you'll go ahead and scoot your yarn off of your template, keeping your hand in the middle. You need to make sure you keep that loop because that's going to be important when it's time to cut the bottom of that loop, making your tassel. So here, I'm just trying to get my hands back on that yarn that I used to tie that knot in the middle. I usually keep that in my hands and I lost it as I was doing this video. So you've got your hands on the knot, you see the loop, and then you're gonna grab your scissors and you're gonna pull, and that's gonna get it exactly at the bottom of the tassel so that you have an even tassel. Now you will see some pieces sticking out. You know, those are pieces that you're usually your starting point and your ending point. And you can even come through later. You'll see we'll trim it at the very end. And once I get my tassel like this, I like to just kind of take my fingers and run it along the tassel, really smoothing it out. And then I take that other piece of yarn that I cut, that was that other 13-inch piece, and I'm going to place it about where I want the top part of that tassel to be. So people have varying heights on these tassels. Now keep in mind This one is a ghost, and so we need enough room up top to have his 2 eyes. If you're going to do a mouth, which I'm not going to do today, you may want to leave like 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit longer. But you just need to place that ribbon around because you're going to tie a knot, but you don't quite tie a knot yet. First, you just want to keep wrapping that yarn around your tassel, kind of holding it tight, because you want to really kind of create that definitive top section. I'm going to call it like the head of the ghost. But even if it weren't a ghost, you always have this very top part of the tassel, and that's what you're creating here. So I usually wrap mine around 5 or 6 times. Having a 13-inch piece of yarn lets you do that pretty easily. You'll still end up throwing, probably half of that away. Probably don't need 13 inches. I just do that because it makes it a lot easier to work with. And then when you get completely done, you're going to tie a knot, a double knot, very tightly, either at the top or the bottom of that yarn that you've been tying around and around. And then once you double knot it, you're going to cut off the excess. And then what I like to do is take my scissors and I push that knot. I get my scissors onto the knot and I push it underneath all of that yarn that I just wrapped around the tassel. And now, like you can see here, you don't even see the knot. It's like hidden underneath all the wrapped around yarn. So now we need to add the eyes. So I'm just taking black paper and I'm cutting eyes, just freehand, just cutting circles in that black paper. And I'm using glue dots to get those eyes onto my ghost. Now my garland's pretty short, and so I only have 3 of the ghost tassels on my ghost tassel garland. And I think they're just so darn cute when you look at them. I'm considering making another one for my mantle, and I'm thinking that would probably take me, I'm guessing based on tassel garlands I've done before, I'm guessing that might take me 30 to 40 ghost tassels. So once I've got that done, I'm ready to go ahead and hang my garland. So I've got my yarn with my beads on it. I'm going to hang that on my project. If you're doing it on your wall, command strips work great. Of course, do the testing and all of that to make sure it doesn't damage your wall. I never have any problems with that. I'm putting mine on this care package, so I'm just using glue dots to get the yarn. When I'm all done, I'll tape it. You can't really see the tape, and it just makes sure that it's really secure. And I'm just evening out my beads because I'm going to put a ghost in between each set of beads. And that's why I made the 3 different ghosts. You can kind of see where they belong. I don't have to have it just right. I just want to get a feeling for it before I tie the ghost on, because that's going to kind of determine the length too of the ghost, and how much I'm going to trim it up. Okay, now I just need to get my ghosts tied onto my garland. And so I just grab each of the ghost tassels and I'm going to tie them right onto the yarn, and then just adjust the beads as needed when it's time to tie each one of the ghost on. And so you'll see here as I tie the second one on, you really just pull it up around the yarn and you're just going to double knot it right onto the piece of yarn. Now, if you want your ghost to hang further down below your garland string, just figure out where you want it to hang and leave all that space and then tie your knot. And that way those ghosts will actually hang further from your garland string. And if you do that, you can kind of taper it. So wherever the middle of your garland is, that might be where the ghosts hang the lowest. And then the strings hanging them get a little shorter as you work your way to the edges of the garland. Mine's pretty simple. I'm just tying knots right onto the string. I'm not having any length, in between the garland and the ghost. If you found anything helpful in today's video, do me a favor and tap the like button. If you like DIY projects, that's what this channel is all about. So take a second and tap subscribe to that and tap the bell to get notifications anytime I load a new video. If you are interested not only in this ghost garland, but you like the Halloween care package, I'll link in the description to the video about the care package, where you would be able to find, if you decide you want to make it, links to the free printables that I do, the one for the Halloween care package, which is over on my blog. So thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck with your project.